If you're the Browns,
Yeah.
okay, you're aware of the cautionary tale of Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, even though Andrew Berry, the Browns GM in the offseason, said that those two contracts that were given to those two quarterbacks should not be a cautionary tale for what they do or don't do with Baker Mayfield. Although I don't believe him. I just think he gains nothing publicly by saying that because they're dealing with a guy who is prickly and who doesn't want any suggestion from the organization that he's not going to be the best quarterback in the history of the team, if not in the history of the league. That's just the attitude he has. And I like that attitude.
Yeah.
But they haven't paid him yet. And I assume one of the reasons they haven't paid him yet is he wants a hell of a lot more than they want to pay him. At what point, once everybody's healthy again, whenever that may be, when you consider the Browns roster on both sides of the ball, at what point do the 2022 Browns become a magnet for Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, other veteran quarterback who is scanning the 32 teams, saying, where's the place that I can go and add to my legacy in a positive way?
Right.
Don't the Browns become one of those teams?
100%. 100%. If that becomes a possibility, they will be at the top of the radar for those type of situations or those type of quarterbacks. No doubt about it. You know, again, what have we seen from all these guys so far? Whether it's, of course, Tom Brady, Brett Favre,
go to a place
Peyton Manning.
win.
Let's go.
We're
going. I'm going to a team that I've looked at, I've studied, I've talked to people around the league, and I know they're really good. And they're going to give me a chance to, like you said, add to the legacy. Hey, we'll see. I mean, listen, I hear what you're saying here. I do. You know, the Baker Mayfield contract situation is certainly on the horizon, and I don't know what you do with it there. I mean, I do say this. He's more talented than Jared Goff. There's no doubt about that. So I don't necessarily, I'm going to give him that. Carson Wentz, I don't know. I mean, Carson Wentz, again, we've seen play at a level where we go, whoa, is he one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football? We've seen that. Now, it's been a little while since we've seen it. It's been, a year and a half, but he's kind of getting back in form too. But I hear what you're saying there. And, again, we've had Baker. It's been a roller coaster so far in his career as far as the play we've seen. That first year, it was real good. It started off hot. Towards the end of the year, it kind of cooled off. Then the next year, it never really got hot. It started off cold as hell, actually. And he had a few moments through the year, but it wasn't a great year. And then, of course, we had last year, which, also started off cold as hell. And really him just kind of, I don't want to say managing the games, but not having a huge effect on the game until, I'm going to say it was week 10, 11, somewhere during that point of the year last year to where you started to go, damn, Baker Mayfield's making a lot of plays, a lot of throws. I think, hey, it's a tough decision, and a lot's going to go on to, how they feel about him as a leader of the team, and do they feel like he can lead them to the promised land in the future at some point? And that's, there's going to be some things that we don't really know the answers to.
And one thing that we believe, I think you agree with me on this, that the NFL eventually will break from is this idea that the next guy up for a new contract at quarterback who is on the pass side of the pass-fail, bust, no bust. This guy works out. He's good enough to stay. We want him to stay. We don't want to run him out of town. The idea that he automatically becomes one of the highest-paid players in football, and they keep going a little bit more, more. I think a second tier needs to develop. We definitely talked about this yesterday afternoon on PFTPM. A second tier needs to develop, and Baker Mayfield could be at the top of that second tier, between 30 and 35, not between 40 and 45. That may be the only way he stays, and the Browns have developed over the past 6-7 years under Paul DePodesta, this obsession with analytics, and it just doesn't apply to when you go for it and when you don't, and when you kick and when you go for 2 and when you do this and when you do that during a game. It applies to the very interchangeable parts on a roster and how much you're willing to pay one guy, knowing that you can find someone else that may be as good, if not better, on the open market or through the draft or wherever. And if they're going to be a team that becomes very attractive to veteran quarterbacks who are looking elsewhere, that's a factor. Now, they've got Mayfield under contract for 1 more year.
Right.
And his salary for 2022 is fully guaranteed, so it becomes difficult to do it next year. But it's still got to be on the radar screen because until he has that second contract, there's no guarantee that Baker Mayfield is going to be there long term.
No. And listen, I think you said a lot of great points there. Like, he would be one where, I don't want to say buyer beware, but I'm certainly, not just going to go, oh, you're the next guy up. Here you are. You're one of the 3 or 4 highest paid quarterbacks of football. I mean, I agree with you. I know we've had this conversation a lot. I think we've led sports media as far as the football conversation and in this conversation as far as you don't always have to pay the guy, top 3 at his position just because he's ready and next. No, he's been good. He's been good. Has he been great? No. He certainly has not been great. And I think the other aspect of it, too, is yes, they have a good team. We know that. But it's not a QB-centric type of team. That's the other thing here. They don't necessarily need, and of course you'd like it, but with the way they play, they don't necessarily need a superstar at quarterback to make this machine go. I mean, again, the offense is really all through the run game. It's all about the run game. And, you look at them, it's very similar to Kirk Cousins in Minnesota the same way, where, yeah, he's really good when Dalvin Cook and company are playing really good. But when they don't run the ball and the boot and play action pass is not there, he's not necessarily going to carry your team with the drop-back pass game like Patrick Mahomes or Rodgers or Josh Allen. They're not in that stratosphere. They're top 10-ish. Or right now, Kirk Cousins is on the edge of the top 10 as far as that type of quarterback. And to me, yeah, you don't break the bank for that guy. And I would think and hope that Cleveland would realize that and not make that mistake.
But if they could get a superstar quarterback, if a superstar quarterback falls into their laps, I think you pivot to that.
Because, sure.
Look, we could go back year by year. Your chances of winning a Super Bowl without a superstar quarterback are not great. The Ravens in 2000, the Bucs in 2002 with Brad Johnson because it was all defense.
Yeah.
You could argue the Steelers,
the
victory
first
in
one,
Super Bowl 40
right,
was a result of defense and officiating,
sure,
not quarterback play.
Yeah.
So, but
Russell Wilson,
the
Seahawks, the first one, the Broncos with Peyton Manning. I mean, your point's real, no doubt.
Yeah. And even then, you had Peyton Manning.
Yeah, you had Peyton Manning still, right, where that gives your team confidence.
The defense rose up that day.
No doubt. No, you're right.
Yeah.
And he's going to get you in the right checks and make right plays and be clutch in a big moment. That's where, yeah, even though he's at the end of his career and maybe not the superstar he was, you still trusted him in big moments.
I'm glad you mentioned Russell Wilson because I bet one of the things that torments him is the fact that he really wasn't responsible for the Super Bowl win. So, yes, I have one on my resume, but I didn't deliver it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I failed when it was my chance to deliver it the next year by the throw that was made and intercepted by Malcolm Butler. Another reason there's an urgency there for him to go to greener pastures if the Seahawks can't give him what he wants. And look at where the Seahawks currently are. Look what the Browns currently are. It's a no-brainer. Oh, by the way, Russell Wilson was born in Ohio. Maybe another magnet that would draw Russell Wilson home for the Browns. But they're going to have options come 2022 if they want them.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.